Hey there and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll be driving around a gated community in Venice, Florida. We're on Highway 776 Englewood Road towards South Venice. If you're interested in buying or selling in the Venice and Sarasota area, make sure to contact me. I am a realtor. I'll have my information in the description box below. Welcome to Ventura Village.
This is a gated community.
This is actually two different communities. To our left and to our right, it's Rapallo. That's also a gated community. We'll link you to a video in the description below,
where you can check out Rapallo. And if you're interested in moving to the Venice, Florida, Sarasota, Northport, Englewood area, Haiti here is a realtor. We'll have that information also in the description. So here we're going through the front gate of Ventura Village. And as you see, there's sidewalks throughout.
And this is actually, it is an HOA community, but their monthly fees are pretty low.
Especially compared to most places in Venice.
Yes, and it's still a very nice community. It's closer to Englewood as well, so South Venice area.
Yeah, about equal distance between Venice and Englewood. Good pocket to be in because both have different vibes.
Right.
Things to do. Maybe we'll also put in the description Englewood versus Northport video where we argue about which is better just for fun, but both have their pros and cons.
Versus Venice.
Venice, yeah. What did I say?
Northport.
Oh, they both have their pros and cons. Both very nice areas though. And you can see too, similar homes throughout the neighborhood, but still a decent amount of variation.
Yes.
There's definitely some communities in Venice where they're gated communities with HOAs and all that stuff where
all the houses are the same.
Yeah, they almost exactly the same. You know, it could be a scenario where you move in and it takes you a month to not pull in the wrong driveway. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's kind of nice here. Although the houses are similar enough where I could see that maybe still happening.
Right. There is more different colors, but the houses maybe four or five different styles of homes, but the colors are pretty different.
Yeah.
For the most part.
And one thing that's kind of nice about this neighborhood is I feel it's like a little bit more family friendly compared to some, in the fact that it seems like there's more 4-bedroom places. There's not a lot, but there's more than most communities, I would say, in Venice.
They only have a pool as an amenity, but again, your HOA fees are about $100 a month. I believe like $270 a quarter. So like $80, $90 a month.
There's also villas in here. We'll take you to that pocket. So it's kind of like one of those communities where it's kind of split, like you have different sections. Which in those, I believe the HOA is, I don't know off the top of my head how much it is, but it's more because it includes your lawn maintenance.
Right, it is a little bit higher.
There's a fair amount of brick driveways, not all, but some. It seems like certain pockets they have more brick driveways. I don't know if that was like an addition, and at that point they decided that was the style to go with, but they look nice. And most of the houses in this community are gonna have or I should say a lot anyway, are going to have retention ponds behind them. Not all. Depends what side of the street you're on and where the house sits. And then a lot of the ones that you'll see that don't have the retention pond behind are going to have a fenced-in yard if the owner decided to put that in. Again, that's I'd say that's more like
personal preference.
Yeah.
And a lot of the houses that don't have a retention pond have like the wetlands behind them, so like a protected area. And obviously you can't build on those, so like you'll never have a neighbor behind. And this community is actually already built out, so
yeah. with those retention ponds comes a lot of nature and wildlife and things like that. If you like that sort of thing, you will definitely see that. Probably a gator, birds, tropical birds, big crazy, half the birds we see in all throughout Venice, like in the different retention ponds, we don't
know what they are.
We don't even know what they are half the time. We're like, well, that one's cool. And sometimes I'll Google them and look them up, like egrets and heron and I don't know, all kinds of things. So that's kind of cool. Oh, and the I don't know how to say it. It's like a ninga or something like that. It's the slang term people call them is snake birds. They're kind of like a loon. They'll swim, they'll go in the water, and then they'll go underwater and dive under for a while and like hunt fish underwater. I guess they're invasive. At least that's what I've heard. So you can see on the right here is the pool.
So, yep, that's the pool. And again, that's the only amenity in this community, but your HOA fees are low.
Yeah, it's one of those things with any HOA in this area, well, probably in general, really. I mean, in Florida, you pay more, you usually, hopefully, get more. You pay less, you get less. Which, again, like we always say, different strokes for different folks.
Right. And if you do like the feel of a community but don't want to pay those fees, or if you won't be using the amenities, then a community like this one, it's much better than one that has all those amenities that you know you're not going to use and you're still paying those high fees.
Yeah. And to give you can see the villas right now on the left and right, but to give you an idea of like some of the amenities like some communities have, sometimes they'll have a restaurant, occasionally tennis courts, sometimes shuffle puck or pickleball courts, things like that.
Basketball courts too.
Yeah, basketball courts. Some even have almost more of like a water park type thing.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. And all these houses are, well, I shouldn't say all, but I think the majority were built probably around the late 90s, early 2000s, early 2000s. Yeah. So they're not terribly old. But, you know, at that age, there's also things you're going to have to put into consideration that, you know, the roof, the water heater, things like that have their lifespan.
Right, and they might be original to a home, so you might need to make those expenses.
You can see all the mailboxes are on one side of the street, so you do get your own like mailbox pretty close to your house here. Some communities, they kind of have like a hub or a couple
like a
hubs.
mail room.
Yeah, where it's like everyone's mail goes to that same area, or sometimes you'll even see them in some communities like on the side of the street, and it'll be like 20 mailboxes in one little thing. So it's kind of nice to have that. This, I should say, not that. Where you don't have to walk too far.
Just to go get your mail.
And also to give you an idea of beach, because if you're gonna come and live in Venice, I mean, the beach has to be a strong consideration, I would think. Manasota Key Beach is about an 7 to 8 minute drive depending on traffic, so that right there tells you if that's the fluctuation. Traffic ain't too bad around here,
right,
on this part of Venice. Doesn't get as congested as, let's say, more near the downtown and in the middle of Venice. There it tends to, you know, in snowbird season get a little more congested, but I don't know, I've seen comments on YouTube and TikTok from people saying how like congested like even Sarasota or Venice is in the winter, which there's definitely more traffic, but I feel like I've dealt with worse.
Yeah.
Much worse.
Yeah, and I mean, like, we're from a small town in Wisconsin, moved to the Orlando area, and that was just way too crazy traffic for us. And when we moved down here, in the winter, yes, we had a lot more traffic, but it was not that bad.
Yeah, and the city we came from was a population of about 40,000 people in Wisconsin. And I feel like even there during rush hours,
Yeah.
it's just as bad as here.
Yes, yes.
So I guess it just depends on where you're coming from. You know, if you're coming from somewhere a little more rural, then it might feel that way. But if you're coming from a big city, this might be a breath of fresh air for you.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I will note, though, is you're going to have slower drivers in Venice. That is for sure.
Right, yes. Mainly in the summer when we have all the snowbirds here.
Yeah. Which I'm fine with. I'd rather have a slow, safe driver than a lot of crazy drivers.
Yes.
Although not all the slow drivers are safe either.
Pick your poison. If you're looking to move to the area, make sure to contact me. I am a realtor in the Venice, Sarasota area. I'll leave my information in the description box below.
And if the video was helpful, be sure to like, drop a comment, let us know your thoughts on the community, on HOAs, all that good stuff. And be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to catch the newest videos.